Hi guys, I have a lot to do in a short amount of time, so we're going to make, these are all the peaches I have. We're going to make a cobbler out of this for dinner, and we're going to make a separate cobbler out of this one for dinner. I don't have enough for myself, I think, I don't have enough to dry in my dehydrator. My husband did buy me one. It was a secondhand one, but hopefully I'll get a really good one. So I'm going to show you how I do my peach cobbler, how I do my nectarine cobbler, and we're having pork chops tonight, and some sort of vegetable tonight, but it's all going in the oven. So we're going to walk through that. Here's a short, so I'm going to start getting that stuff together. Let's peel the nectarines, and for a cobbler, you're going to need, for the topping, you're going to need flour, sugar. You can use either granulated or brown sugar if you have it. If you don't, I don't have enough brown sugar, so I'm going to use granulated sugar. And any seasonings that you want on the top, like I'm going to use with my cobblers this time, I'm going to use, for one of them, it's going to be apple spice, and the other one's going to be pumpkin spice. I'm just using it. It's just the different spices that are in it. Some of them are the same. I know that I'm not using the right fruit for them, but it's fine. It's going to taste lovely, and it's going to be nice and everything. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. First, we're going to start peeling them, and give me a second and I'll get the bowls together. So earlier when I said we were going to use apple spice, apparently I must have ran out of it, or my husband hid it in my cabinet. Yeah, try your best not to let your husband in your spice cabinet. So we're going to use allspice instead for one of them. It's got most of the same ingredients. We're just going to roll with the punches like we always do. So let's get working on the dessert so we can get in the oven. I'm using it, yes. Seems that I was making homemade hot chocolate for my kids yesterday, and it went all over my hand. I'm going to be okay, so don't worry. So let's get started. I'm using cast iron skillet for the pork chops. We will get those in shortly. Cobblers take longer. That's why we're doing them first. And it actually shortens the time when you use a cast iron skillet for meat. So we got to get all this prepared and shove it in the oven. So let's get going on those peaches and those nectarines. Okay. If the stand will stand. Okay. There we go. Better. Okay. You know what I forgot? I forgot my knife. Enjoy the view of my kitchen. My windows are not done yet. I need that one. And we're going to try to peel the rinds of the skin off of the nectarines and peaches, but if it doesn't happen, it's okay. Cutting knife, paring knife. I'm going to put the cutting knife. This is why it's always good to have a dish strainer right here. I'm going to put the cutting knife there. Compost bucket. Now let's get it going. I've already washed my hands. I have a dish towel in case my hands get slimy. Right here. And if you're peeling them, you don't have to wash them. But if you want to wash them before you put them in, it'll be fine. And yes, I have my spell balls over here. Okay, let's get peeling. I might have to change the bowls that I'm using for the peach cobbler, because I might not have enough, but I do have different size white bowls, cooking bowls. So we'll see what we have. I have been known to switch it up and occasionally put apples in it, which makes an interesting cobbler. you take your paring knife, even when it's this soft. There we go. One of them may have actually turned really bad. This side's good. This side, yeah, this side is turned really bad, but it's not going to waste because it's going into the compost. And you know what? I might actually grab some apples. Hang on. Oh, that's it. Bruise them. Bruise the apples. Ugh. The price of these things have gone outrageous. Ooh, I bruised this one just a little too much. Oopsie. And like the pears and the nectarines, you can substitute an apple. You can substitute how many apples you want for that, and it will taste fine. It really will. And I'm going to use apple cider, a tiny bit of apple cider for my acid, because I haven't gotten to the store to get lemons or limes, and I don't have any extract or any powdered lemonade. So we're going to start cutting these up. And my trick is, after I get the bowl just a little bit full, like so, I'm going to take my pitcher water that I have right here, my filtered water. I'm going to put it over them. I should have told you that's what we were going to do. But every cook to their own, so do what you've been taught to do. If you like to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, that would be great. It's the same name. Is this one too far gone? No. Just looks like that. And you know what? The reason why they have... Oh, the oven's ready. The reason why they came out with jellies and marmalades and cobblers and things is to make sure that they can use what they had. And if it was turning south, it was a good way of eating it right away and preserving it. At least that's the way I was always taught. Looks like I might just have to mix these two together, which will be okay. We'll see what we come up with. We got one more peach left. It's not like I haven't done that before. Oh, I'm not sick. It's just my allergies. I have allergies, and the change of the weather just likes to mess with my allergies. That's why I'm sniffling. And it's time to change a lot of the wildflowers in my house. The pollen is getting to me. I love them, but they don't love me. It looks like we might just have to mix all the fruit together and just make a fruit one, which that's fine. So at that point, if we're just going to do that, I will just decide on which one I'm using, spice-wise, and we'll just do that. So onto the nectarines. We're going to peel them and put them in the same bowl with the peaches. And the apples, they're going to be in a separate bowl so I can put them together later. But it looks like I'm just making a fruit. And this recipe, just like life, it just, you have to roll with the punches. So it looks like it's just going to be a fruit cobbler. And what I keep going back to is that's where my recycles goes. I'm sure you can hear my kid in the other room. He's playing. In a little bit, Bubba. He's playing with his cars. While the little one is laying down. Yeah, the sliding on the board, that's why I generally use a paring knife most of the time. Because when they're this bright, they get really slimy. But I can smell the sugar off of them, and that's a good thing. So that means I can use less sugar. Again, it's just my allergies. This one is just too ripe. I let it go just a little too long. That, and if you have it sitting in a bowl of water, you can rinse some of the extra sugar off of them. Because we will be putting a tiny bit of sugar in it with the flour for the filling. So any excess sugar, you can put off of it. Instead of sugar, you can use any sugar substitutes. You could just use straight fruit. You don't have to sit them in a bowl of water. But that's what I do. You can just do that, and you put the flour in there, and you get the natural sugars off the fruit. But if you can't, put them on a bowl of water. That will help draw out some of the extra sugar. So, and you can use honey as a substitute. Any substitute that you have for sugar that you normally use in cooking, go ahead and use it. There's nothing, and it's like any of the natural substitutes that you have for butter, you can go ahead and use it. I'm going to show you something. This is what I did at work. And you go to do this, and it peels off. See? See, it peels right off. But that takes a lot of practice, and you have to be careful, because you will slice your hand if you're not careful. Like yesterday, I was talking to my husband on the phone while he was on a break, and I was not paying attention, and I got the hot milk went right across my hand. Across the top part of my hand, and instantly busted this one. I made an instant blister, and this is, I stuck my hand under cold water. It somewhat helped. But sometimes kids and husbands cause you to burn yourself. I'm just lucky I knew first aid, so I didn't have to go to the ER. But I thought for a short period of time I was going to have to. And if you have a TikTok, the more followers I get on TikTok, the sooner I will get to be live. And the more followers I get on YouTube, I will soon to be live. But if I don't have that many followers, I can't go live. I think it's 1,000 followers on TikTok and YouTube. On TikTok, I'm only sitting at 97. On YouTube, I'm only on 13. But you don't have to do it if you really don't want to. But like I was saying on TikTok, if you would like me to do a online showing class of what I know to do, I could do that. Just let me know. Send me a message on Instagram or here on YouTube. You can send me a message whether you'd like me to do that or not. Because I would gladly put videos up on what I was taught of the stuff I know. Time to move on to the apples. Oh, I just ran out of butter. I mean, not butter. We're not through the butter stage yet. I just ran out of water. There you go. Because I transported it. So yes, for dinner we're having pork chops. I haven't decided what I'm fixing with it. That will be as I move along. And now they have these composts that I saw that I was going to get for my mom. That there are compost machines that you put in your kitchen, and it creates compost. I think they said in 2 weeks. And you can keep adding to it, and it will create compost. Moving on to the big knife for apples. And I thought about getting it for my mom, but they're like $3,000 for a good one. I just don't have that kind of money. See, you have to be careful. I was too busy watching you guys instead of doing this. Don't worry, I didn't cut myself. I thought I did, but didn't. I don't know where you're at, where you guys are, but there's going to be an apple fest around here, and my son desperately wants to go, and I'm going to try to see if we can go. And I'm going to pick up some apples and some apple cider. Oh, and if you want me to teach you how to make apple butter, I will. I'm going to try apple butter this year in my Instapot. I did it last year in my crock pot. It turned out well. And you can actually freeze apple butter, because I have apple butter frozen downstairs in the deep freeze. Because I didn't have enough cans to put it in to can it. So I just bagged it up and put it in a deep freeze. And it's still good. I have defrosted one of them and it turned out just fine. So you can do that from your garden. You can freeze, you can, you can dry, or you can do all three. Which in my family, we tend to do all three. Especially if you run out of cans and money to buy cans. Money to buy candy jars, sorry. And we also dehydrate too. Moving on to the last apple, people. Last one right here. I might just go with pumpkin spice. And you can actually put pumpkin spice in cinnamon and apple cider and apple juice and warm it up, and it tastes really good. And you don't need that much. You need less than a teaspoon. Literally less than a teaspoon if it's a whole glass and it's a single glass. Okay, time to cut these up. Paring knife, cover back on it, to the end of the sink. We don't need it anymore. Apples. And sticking them in the water serves two purposes. It keeps them from turning yellow or turning brown. Depending on what you're cooking, it will turn yellow. And also, like I said, bring some of that sugar off of them that's on there naturally. That you want just a little of, but you don't want too much of. Compost going on the lid. I meant compost lid. Don't worry, it's going to go outside. I've switched my compost. I'm doing both, where you dig in the garden and you create a compost. Yesterday when I did my compost, I dug a hole in my garden. And yes, I do have a full laundry basket of towels. That's going downstairs to be washed. So you can dig and it goes straight in there, or you could just do compost. And I decided to do both. Okay, these are the bowls we're working with. Okay, these are the bowls we're working with right here. This is this one, and this is this one. I'm going to see how how much fruit we have, because you just need you need a good rim for it. So if it bubbles over, it's not an issue. And over here, this is the cast iron skillet that we're going to be working with. And I'm going to put tin foil over this for the pork chops. Let's get the cobbler done first, and then we'll move on to the pork chops and dinner. Okay. Apple cider. Can you believe this little thing right here costs $3 and something? You surely don't need that much butter, but we'll see what we got. If we need more or not. Okay, do we do the filling? Yes. We're going to do the filling first. Okay. If I can figure out what I'm doing. Okay, there's that. Now the apples. Oh, there's that. And I did end up pulling all my kale. Not kale. I got kale. I'm going to do a seed reveal soon from the seeds that my family friend gave me. We're going to do some apple cider now. Here, you can watch me do it. All right. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4 for good measure. Okay. Salt. This is sea salt. I need to get some more. You can use any salt you like. I'm doing that because there's quite a bit of fruit in there. Okay. Now onto the flour. We need flour for both things. Flour and sugar and spices. Now that I think about it, I probably don't have enough. I don't have enough butter, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We're not there yet, so let's not worry about it. Some sugar. I know I said we were not doing that. I think we're gonna go with. This is allspice. This is pumpkin spice. I think we're gonna go with pumpkin spice. And if you ever read the back of these spices that are like this, you know why I say you can use it for multiple things. And I don't have the energy today to make this spice blend, so it's going to smell so good. I need wooden spoon. The apple cider was our acid. You can use any fruit juice you have on hand. Because remember, when these cobblers were originally made, they made them out of the stuff they had on hand. So I've used apple juice before. I've used grape juice before, but not as much. As long as it's an acid juice, do not use, don't use Kool-Aid. Don't use high C because it's not real juice. It's juice. It's real juice. It's just not as high of acid that you need. Apple juice works. Grape juice. Some other juices work great. I'm going to add just a little more flour. Yeah, I know my little's just a big hyping scoop. But I want it to have a thick syrup. It's going to have a thick syrup. And I have to go out to the garden today and pick what's still ripe off because we still have tomatoes coming on. Eggplants have come on. I had to pull the watermelon and the mushmelon because every time I would do something, I get a few. Oh, hang on. I'm going to spray this just in case. You could spray or butter it, but I prefer to spray it. Only because with my hand being the way it is, it makes it really hard to grease the pan. Don't forget to grease all sides. And it goes. I know I didn't use really good measurements, but I was taught how to cook by eye. So I do it all the time. And once you know a recipe, you can always change it. There you go. Now the thing my grandma used to do, my grandma Shears, sorry, my grandma, she would put butter in here, which I might actually do. But you're putting a butter top on it, so you don't have to do it. You could. My other grandma, she doesn't do it. She does it when she feels like it. Put those away so I know it's away. Now, I don't have a dough knife, so we're going to use a fork. Or you could use your hands. But I'm going to use a fork. Let me get the other mixing bowl. Move this guy to the side. This guy up here. Now, at this point, you can put the same spices that you put in that in here. But my husband's eating it. I decided against it. Putting in that much sugar. I don't know if you can see it. I think I'll just put what's left. He tends to like things that are overly sweet anyway. I don't know why. He just does. And then we're going to put in the flour. Flour. Okay, I mixed this together, the sugar and the flour. And I forgot that it needs just a tiny bit of salt. You don't have to do this because the salt you get from the butter you get from the store already has salt in it. So you don't have to do that. You can. It helps with the savoriness. But we're going to switch over to the butter now. Whoop. Doesn't want to come off the spoon. There we go. Okay. You can use butter or margarine, and I was not able this week to afford butter at the store, so we're using margarine. I also haven't gotten equipment yet to make my own butter yet. Okay. That's done. Time to clean up Sometimes it's easier to clean up as you go, and sometimes it isn't, depending on what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to move you guys over here. There. Now you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, we're going to do this. Actually, I'm right-handed dominant, so I think I can do things with the injured right hand that I can't. Sometimes the fork thing works and sometimes it doesn't. Like, it's irritating me. So, I'm going to put the fork aside. We're going to show you how I do it sometimes. It's the same way I do gardening. No gloves. Except when I'm doing composting. Depending on how bad my compost is, I bought a pair of dish gloves to use for my compost. And it does work. I bought those long dish gloves. And they were reusable. That's the reason I got them, because they were reusable. Don't worry, my hands are clean. And if you do it this way, the upside is that you warm up the butter as you go. And you can make it however you want it to make it. Like the consistency. And I can tell if I have to add more flour or sugar to this. And don't forget, guys, to follow my cousin Wine Richmond on Instagram, and my cousin Rebecca Webb on YouTube and Instagram. She has a link to her farm on there. My cousin has I haven't seen his page in a while. I think he has a link to his designs. And I'll let you know about any other cousin that has businesses or anything. I have a cousin down home who does pictures. She's a photographer. She does photography pictures. But I don't remember what she calls her business. I think I might have to add, I don't know, I think I can get away with this. No, I can't get away with this. Time for the flour containers to come back out. Okay. That's the upside about doing this with your hand, is that you can tell if you can, one, get away with that, or two, you're going to have to add more flour. You're just going to have to add more flour. Because it's supposed to be a crumble top, and it wasn't crumbling because I think I added just a tiny bit too much butter. There we go. Butter. It's okay if your kitchen's a little messy. And as soon as I can afford the money to get the Julia Child cookbook, I think I'm going to do some recipes from her cookbook. The Arts of French Cooking. I have been dying for that cookbook. Me and my mom both want the same cookbook. Can you guys see that? There we go. Between the flour in this and the flour that's in the fruit, it's going to make a nice crumble. And if you want to see shots of this, I'll show you what it looks like at the end. But if you want to see shots of this, I'm going to take shots of this and put it on my Instagram account. Okay, time to wash my hands. This is what your hands look like afterwards. Oh. Hands are clean. Okay. Time to make this over to the oven. We're not quite done yet. Pork chops are up next. Okay. I have put the tinfoil on the pork chops. The cobbler's done. I decided to go with baked beans. I'm going to put a tiny bit of brown sugar in them. And I was always taught that brown sugar, ketchup, and mustard, you can't really taste it. It cooks. I'm going to stir this up, put tinfoil on it, and stick it in the oven. I have cousins that put other stuff in their baked beans, but I don't generally do that. Let's see. Good old ketchup. You could use mustard or you could use powdered mustard. But like I said, my hand hurts and I'm going to use mustard. I'm going to stir this up and stick them both in the oven. All three of them. And then I'll work on another vegetable. While these are before I fix supper, I will work on another vegetable. And you all can see the pictures on Instagram for this. And maybe I'll do a reel on TikTok. Okay, that's all stirred up. All right. And this is what it looks like. Baked beans. Oh, that's a cobbler. Baked beans. Cobbler. Pork chops. And I'm putting them all in a 350 oven until they're done. I forgot the tinfoil. Okay, so all we have to do is wait for it to get done and I'll show you the results when that happens.